Charlie Chen was created here. Now, when it's a love scene, how do we go about romantic comedy, screwball comedy?
Yeah.
They're all at their peak in the 30s and 40s. Then what are we doing now? Yeah. You have to know, and then when you do it, it's become American film. It's so established. Yeah. How do you fight that? No, when you do that, you become American, not Chinese. Well, how do you deal with that? It's a very, very different task. For the Chinese audience, they can scold you, complain that you're this and that. But when you actually put a filmmaker there to make a movie, what do you make to draw the Chinese audience to the theater? It's very, very difficult. So James was very helpful in that way. If not actually writing, at least he can remind me. Like detective story, I never seen. No, you have Bao Gong and whatever. Yeah. If you translate and put it here, it's laughable.
Yeah, so there is a lot.
Yeah, in China, you're watching television series. That's the main entertainment. If you translate and put it here, they're laughable. They're worse than soap opera here. But they would take it serious. That's our culture. And then how do you transcend that? And there's indeed good stuff in there. How do you transcend that to be something more compatible, even to catch people's eyes?
Yeah.
That's something we really have to work on. And also in the biggest market, China itself, it has denied our own culture for a very long time. Yeah. There's no film in 30, 40 years. Yeah. Then you start to pick up from Taiwan and Hong Kong cinema and try to catch up. There's no genre, no viewing habit. You don't know what the audience finds. Now it's one of the biggest film market. What do people see? How do you feed them? No, Hollywood film, they're so foreign, they don't totally satisfy them. But the Chinese film we provide is not quite satisfying yet. You get a lot of complaints, but how do you satisfy them and make them go to theater? It's very, very difficult. There's no rules of game like things so established here. It's actually very difficult. Sometimes they give the filmmakers a hard time. Like Zhang Yimou didn't do this right, Chen Kai-ge was laughable there. But I have great sympathy for that. I hope they get more help. Yeah. We don't really know how to satisfy them. It's very, very difficult. I think the audience appetite is so huge because there's no genre and the way of marketing. They want everything. They want to win the Oscar, win the prize, and then big sell. And then has a global hit and also satisfy authentic to Chinese. Nobody can do that. There's no such film. And we really have to find our own ways. And in terms of hitting here, that's another story. And also, there's another thing, is the Chinese-American filmmaker here. How do you make it here and have the Asian audience care about you? That's another story. It's nothing I can, or nobody has a short answer to that. I believe it's a hopeful but a very long struggle that we better have a very good attitude instead of negative attitude or narrow-minded attitude about it.
I've just got a 3-minute warning, and I have all these questions, so I'm sorry I can't do all of them. But could you please tell us, there is one question from the audience of what genre you haven't yet done that you want to do in your next project. Why did you pick your next project?
Next project, I'm going to do a comedy.
Yeah, you're going to do a comedy, okay.
Yeah, a more pure form of comedy, which I never done that's threatening. If it's not funny, it will flop. It doesn't really mean much. So that's my next challenge. It relates to the happening of the Woodstock, 1969.
Do you have the
actors? You're going to see a lot of hippies.
Do you have you got the actors yet?
No, I just begin to. We're still working on the script, but that's something I would like to do next.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, maybe we still have a little bit of time, of your casting process. I mean, what do you look for in your screen actor, and how do you cast them? We were talking in breakfast how Wayne did Joy Luck Club, and
yeah, we were told by my assistant who helped in Wayne Wang doing Joy Luck Club. They said all of a sudden, like one day, 1,800 girls showed up. They're freaked out. They've never seen so many actors for the open call. So they put this little tape staple on them.
So Wayne walked back and forth, putting little tapes on the ones that'll get a second chance. And the ones that doesn't have a little tape will not get taped.
Even
yeah?
tape, even recorded.
Will not get recorded. But how,
I'm glad I'm not an actor too. We talk about that. For me,
what's the key elements in a screen actor?
usually I like to work with a well-trained actor and tell them to loosen up in the progress of making the movie. I enjoy theatrically trained, but it's not, doesn't have to be that way. For example, this one, I want to try something new. I might go with a non-actor comedian, maybe. So I'm looking into that territory, start to meet people. Usually I went through it in a pretty typical way. I have a very good casting director working with me. If it's English language film, I work with A.V. Kaufman in New York. Chinese film, whoever the assistant director, that system is, I work along that side. Usually I describe how I see them, and then they give me suggestions. They accumulate tapes, pictures. Sometimes if it's like more open call, like Last Caution, where we select the lead, there's an army of assistant directors go. We got Tang Wei out of 10,000 actresses. Obviously, I cannot see all of them. So I saw actually no more than 100, and I select them. Usually I meet them, talk to them, and decide whether I want to read them or not. The next round is reading. I'm kind of a nice guy, so I will give them at least like 20 minutes to half an hour if they come in. And
No, that's very kind. Because sometimes the
Then try
moment the
them
person
out.
walks in, he already knows.
Well,
That's not right.
Most of the time, when they open the door, they start to show up, I sort of know. So it's just
But
the
you
vibe.
still would give them the 20 minutes.
And the way we look at each other for the first time sort of lock our relationship for the rest of the course, the next half a year. A lot of the time it happens. There's a few times while you're testing them, you think, oh, maybe there's another chance. That happens too. But most of the time when they walk in, I sort of have a sense. I think I look for at least a couple of things. One is it's movie, it's photography. So the face and the disposition has to do something that make your job easier. That it's not all about acting. When people, here's what I found out about movie. The best acting is acting in the audience mind. You can never beat that. So our job is provocative. It's a provocation. Is to make the audience act in their mind. So when you have elements of characteristic in the material, and you want to think, what's the face? Mostly face, so sometimes the body, or sometimes if it's a movie star, his demeanor or her demeanor or her charisma, something you want to work with or work against. That's the chemistry of the movie. So you want to send out the right chemistry to the audience according to their dramatic need. And then secondly is their characteristic, how well they can act, how much they're willing to give. Are they devoted, or are they choose what you see? They select what kind. Do you want to break down that person? That's what you want to use. Or somebody is so devoted, you start to build on them, whatever. So that's the internal quality. Mostly acting potentials, if not skills, but potential. So basically those two elements are very important to me. I never really face studio pressure, like you have, this is the picture so attached to it, so you make a movie from there. I've never done that, except that one time with Emma Thompson, but that was a naturalist. Everybody would think of her play that role. So nothing against my imagination of the material.
Okay, thank you, An, very much, and thank you all being here. I've just given the sign. We're done.
Thank you.